The night was still so still that even the wind seemed to pause, listening for something unseen. In a forgotten corner of the old city, where cracked walls whispered stories of centuries gone by, a young man named Arif walked alone. His heart was heavy, heavier than the dust that clung to his worn-out shoes. Life had pushed him from corner to corner until he no longer knew where he belonged. And tonight, he felt like collapsing. But then something happened. A strange sound drifted through the silence. Not music, not a voice, something between a breath and a longing. It rose from the courtyard of a small, half-broken shrine. Drawn by the sound, Arif stepped forward. His heartbeat quickened, not in fear, but as if something familiar, something forgotten had finally called his name. Before the story continues, dear listeners, if this moment has already touched your heart, please take a second to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps us bring more soulful stories to you. And don't forget to leave a heartfelt comment. We read every single one. Arif pushed open the old wooden gate. Inside, he found a man sitting in deep meditation, surrounded by nothing but candlelight and the sound of his own breathing. A ragged cloak, a weather-beaten face, but eyes that seemed to hold oceans within them. This was Baba Qalandar, the man people spoke of in hushed tones, the one whose prayers softened even the hardest storms. Arif lowered his gaze, unsure if he should speak. But Baba Qalandar smiled, as if he had been expecting him all along. You came heavy, he said softly. Sit. Hearts speak louder when they are tired. Arif didn't know why his throat tightened, but he sat. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Arif whispered, Baba, I've lost everything. Baba Qalandar nodded gently. Then you are exactly where you need to be. Arif felt something break inside him. People tell me to have faith, he said, trembling. But what faith? I feel like Allah has stopped listening to me. At this, Baba Qalandar closed his eyes and whispered something so quietly Arif almost missed it. Allah never stops listening, but sometimes He sends us walking until we discover the path that leads back to Him. The candles flickered almost in agreement. Arif looked around the dimly lit shrine. But how, Baba? How do I find that path? Baba Qalandar opened his eyes, and for a moment, Arif felt as though he saw galaxies hidden in their depth. By learning, he whispered, the Jamal-e-Mustafa, the beauty of Muhammad. Arif frowned slightly. Beauty, you mean, appearance? No, Baba Qalandar said with a soft laugh. The beauty of the Prophet is not something the eyes see. It is something the heart becomes. And with that, the story truly began. Baba Qalandar leaned back, his voice taking on a rhythm that felt like poetry. In the deserts, he began, where sun boiled the sands and nights froze the bones, walked a man whose smile eased the world. People saw him and felt safe. They spoke to him and felt understood. They touched him and felt healed, not because of miracles, but because he carried a beauty that changed people from inside. Arif closed his eyes, letting the words settle like gentle rain. Do you know what beauty truly is, Arif? Baba Qalandar asked. Arif shook his head. It is mercy, kindness, forgiveness. It is lifting someone who has fallen, feeding someone who is hungry, holding the hand of someone who feels unworthy. That is the Jamal-e-Mustafa. Arif whispered. But Baba, I am not beautiful like that. Baba smiled. No one is. Not at first. Beauty comes when life breaks us enough that light has space to enter. Arif swallowed hard. Then why do I feel only darkness? That, Baba Qalandar said slowly, is because you are standing at the edge of transformation. And then, he began to tell Arif the story of a man much like him, a man who had lost everything. Years ago, a traveler came to this same shrine, broken by betrayal. His closest friend had stolen his life's savings. His wife had left him with bitterness. His family refused to support him. With no future, he wandered from city to city, feeling abandoned even by God. Finally, he arrived here dirty, tired, hopeless. When Baba Qalandar saw him, he asked, What did you lose that Allah cannot replace? The man had cried until he could no longer breathe. And then, he stayed, Baba Qalandar taught him how the Prophet forgave the man who threw stones at him, how he smiled at those who insulted him, how he fed those who refused to feed him, how he never let pain turn his heart bitter. That, Baba said, is beauty. That is strength. The traveler learned to give water to passers-by, to share food with strangers, to clean the shrine courtyard each morning. He began with small acts, tiny sparks of kindness, and slowly, Allah rebuilt his life. Within a year, he found honest work. Within 2, he built a home. Within 3, he became someone people came to for help. Arif listened, captivated. Do you know where that man is today? Baba asked. Arif shook his head. Baba Qalandar pointed toward himself and smiled. Arif gasped. It was you. Baba nodded, eyes glistening. Allah transformed me through the beauty of Muhammad. Silence wrapped around them. Arif felt 1,000 thoughts stirring inside him. But Baba, what about me? My challenges feel endless. My father died. My mother is ill. I cannot find work. I feel like the world moves forward, and I am sinking deeper. Baba Qalandar reached out and touched his shoulder. Arif, your challenges are not punishments, they are invitations. Allah is inviting you to discover your own beauty. Arif whispered, where do I start? Start, Baba said, with kindness. Start with truth. Start with patience. Start exactly where you are. For days, Arif stayed with Baba Qalandar. He swept the courtyard, served tea to visitors, helped old men stand, listened to the stories of widows, smiled at children, and really prayed for the first time in years. Something inside him softened, blossomed, opened, but challenges did not disappear. His mother's illness worsened. His money remained scarce. His future still seemed uncertain. One night, overwhelmed, Arif broke down. Baba, I try so hard. Why is nothing changing? Baba Qalandar placed a hand on his back. Arif, when a seed is buried in darkness, do you accuse Allah of forgetting it? Arif looked up, tears trembling in his eyes. No, Baba continued. You wait, you trust, because you know that in darkness, something is growing. And just like that, Arif understood. His challenges were not walls, they were soil. He returned home with a heart made gentler, with hands ready to help, with face stitched back together. He cared for his mother with more patience than he thought he possessed. He worked small jobs with honesty. He served neighbors without expecting anything in return. Slowly, life shifted. One afternoon, after months of struggle, he received a call. A company he had applied long ago offered him a stable job. The owner told him, someone spoke highly of your character. Arif didn't know who that someone was, but Baba Qalandar did. Months later, when Arif returned to the shrine to thank him, Baba simply smiled. When Allah opens a door, he said, he does not need keys. Arif's tears fell freely. Baba, how do I repay you? Live, Baba Qalandar whispered. Live with the beauty of Muhammad in your heart. That is repayment enough. Arif bowed his head, feeling the weight of the Prophet's mercy, the gentleness of his speech, the warmth of his smile echo inside him. And from that day forward, Arif walked through the world with a different light, a light that came not from him but through him, a reflection, however small, of the Jamal-e-Mustafa. Before this story closes, dear listeners, if Arif's journey touched your heart even a little, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Comment below what part of the story touched your soul. We would love to hear from you. And remember, beauty is not in the face. Beauty is in mercy. Beauty is in forgiveness. Beauty is in the way we lift each other. Beauty is in following the footsteps of Muhammad. May we all carry a little of that beauty within us. Amin.